The iconic fireworks over the National Mall will be moved to a new spot. All flights will be grounded at Washington's Reagan National Airport for more than 2 hours. And 3 times the usual number of National Guard troops will be deployed for security. All so President Donald Trump can be the centerpiece for D.C.'s 4th of July celebration, giving an unprecedented speech at the Lincoln Memorial.
We're going to have a great 4th of July in Washington, D.C. It'll be like no other.
For all the costly changes, it's still not precisely what he wanted early on. A grand military parade as seen in some other countries, such as France, Russia, and North Korea. But cost estimates for that plan quickly ran into tens of millions of dollars. The D.C. City Council, mindful of expensive street damage, howled, "No tanks!" The Park Service has remained quiet about how much it will cost to take on the additional requirements. And the Pentagon is not discussing the price tag for a flyover by the Blue Angels, a plane that serves as Air Force One, some other aircraft, and a couple of tanks and troop carriers that will also be there, but simply parked near the mall.
We want to bring millions of people into the city, and we want people to come who love our country. Those are the people we want.
The president tweeting, "The Pentagon and our great military leaders are thrilled," after asking the chiefs of every branch to stand with him during the celebration. The Pentagon not saying which, if any, are going. And adding to the frustration of those who claim the traditionally nonpartisan event is being hijacked by Team Trump, the White House and the Republican National Committee are reportedly giving VIP access to favored friends and colleagues. Democrats say on this scorching week, they are largely being frozen out. The White House response?
This is a public event. It's open to the public.
That said, one part of the public they may not be so happy to see. The people who operate the Baby Trump balloon have secured a permit, and the Baby Trump balloon will also be flying over the festivities here.
Nike is canceling a sneaker that featured an old version of the American flag. Nike asked stores to return the Air Max 1 Quick Strike 4th of July sneaker after the company received a complaint from Colin Kaepernick. The Wall Street Journal reported Kaepernick said he and others found the shoe, which featured the Betsy Ross flag, offensive because of its connection to an era of slavery. It's unclear if any of the shoes were sold. This is the second instance of Nike removing a product in recent days. It stopped selling some products in China after a fashion designer's support for protests in Hong Kong sparked a social media backlash.
Police say a man plummeted from a plane on Sunday, his body landing here in a garden, barely missing a man who was sunbathing. It appears he fell from the landing gear compartment of a Kenya Airways plane as it was approaching Heathrow Airport. Now, a bag, water and some food were discovered in the landing gear compartment once the plane touched down. Nina Dos Santos is outside that London home where the body landed with the details on what is a frightening and desperately sad story, Nina.
It is, Becky, and unfortunately it's not the first time that we as the press have been reporting on stowaways losing their lives, trying desperately to board some of these planes setting off from Africa to touch down in Heathrow Airport in London, one of the busiest aviation hubs anywhere in the world. And tragically, when the airline, the compartment of the actual aircraft opens to let the landing gear down, this is when we see these bodies fall from some of these planes. We saw it back in 2012. We've also seen it in 2015, and over the course of the weekend the residents of this property behind me in Clapham in southwest London also saw that. This body falling 2,500 feet to the ground just yards away from where one of the residents was sunbathing on a sunny Sunday afternoon. And images of the scene show the depression in the grass there, and on the marble pathway, the stone pathway has been partly shattered by the force of this impact. Well, aviation experts say that the conditions inside that landing compartment, where, as you pointed out, there was a bag containing food and also water as well, an indication of some level of preparedness potentially by this individual for that journey, would have been treacherous. And it may well have been that this individual lost their life, not necessarily upon impact here on this property, but many hours before, throughout the course of this 8.5-hour flight.